Assalamualaikum. Welcome back to my online lecture. So today we are going to start with the electronic packaging with the first part. Under the electronic packaging topic, there will be three subtopics, which are electronic packaging itself, PCB fabrication, and assembly on PCB. So what is electronic packaging? Electronic packaging, if you want to define it, it is like the physical means by which components in a system are electrically interconnected and interface to external devices. Okay, so for example, like we already see in the previous lecture, where the parts will be connected together to form into some electrical board. So in the electronic packaging, it includes the mechanical structure and hold and protect the circuit. Okay, so in the electronic packaging, there will be power distribution and signal interconnection. There will be structural support, protection from physical and chemical hazard, heat dissipation, and also it will minimize delay in signal transmission. There are 5 hierarchy of packaging. Okay, electronic packaging. The first one, the level 0 is intra-connection on the chip. So this one is what we learned in the IC chip previously. And then there is level 1, chip to package interconnection to form IC package. Okay, so this one is the last lecture we see previously. And the one that we're going to see this time is level 2 is IC package to circuit board interconnection, and then they also have level 3 circuit board to rack card on board packaging. Okay, and the last one is wiring and cabling connection in cabinet. The most popular interconnection of circuit board is printed circuit board. I believe many of you seen printed circuit board previously. Okay, so what is printed circuit board? PCB. So PCB is a thin sheet of insulating material with copper conducting path on one or both surface to interconnect component attached to the board. Okay, so we're going to see this one in detail later. Whole components and connect to external circuit, so meaning that is like the motherboard for computer. Okay, so it hold all the component and connect all the external circuit together. And then standard building block for electronic system that contain pack, IC, and other component. Okay, so let's see two types of printed circuit board. The first one is unstuffed PCB and the second one is stuffed PCB. The difference is unstuffed PCB, all the circuits are without the all the component is built in together, and stuffed PCB is all component is attached differently on the circuit. The common PCB material is usually polymer composite reinforced with glass, fabric, or paper, and in between there is a copper foil. Okay, copper foil thickness is usually around 0.04 mm, while the usual substrate board thickness is around 0.8 to 3.2 mm. There are three types of PCB. The first one is single-sided board, meaning the copper foil is only layered on one side of the board. Double-sided board, where copper foil is layered on both sides of the substrate. And the third one is multi-layer board, meaning that it consists of alternating layer of conducting foil and insulation. And then the interconnection of between the components and 4 layer is the most common configuration. Now let's see the picture for better understanding. If you can see here, picture A showing the single-sided PCB. So there is a substrate and only one layer of copper foil is being layered on the substrate. Picture B showing the double-sided, where both sides of the substrate is layered with the copper foil. And the C is the multi-layer, where if you can see, there are 4 layers of copper foil and 3 layers of insulating substrate. PCB is usually starting material is very big. Okay, so in order for board preparation, after the laying process, there'll be a lot more process that you have to do before we can print the circuit on the board. Okay, so you have to the board is supposed to go through the sharing, hole making, shaping operation to create tabs and slot, and creating the holes and everything, so that you can position the board accurately for subsequent processes. So for certain part, there are also part bar coding for identification, and you have to perform the cleaning and remove any dirt and grease before the next process, and all this process is prepared in the clean room. There are three types of holes that used in the PCB. So the first one is insertion hole. So this hole is used to insert the components leads. And second one is via holes. Via hole is a copper plated and used as conducting path between the two sided of the board. So usually if this one is using the multi-layer, so you will need the via holes. And the next one is other holes. This one is to fasten certain components such heat sink on the board, like you see in the picture below. The drilling process for PCB is quite the same with the normal drilling process, but the difference will be in terms of the size, because this one is going up to the micron size of holes. Okay, so this one for non-high-tech PCB, you can stack different number of panels together before you can drill it together. It can goes up to like 150,000 holes per PCB board. Okay, so there are a lot. So that's why you can do the stacking and then perform the drilling process. However, for high-tech PCB, you cannot perform the drilling with stacking of panels. It has to go for one by one. Okay, so for mass production, multiple standard spindle drill can also be used. Okay, the next step is circuit pattern imaging. So circuit pattern imaging is where you created the circuit on the board. So this one is transferring the circuit pattern to the copper surface on the board. There are two basic methods. One is screen printing and photolithography. Okay, so photolithography we already see, and screen printing also we already cover in the IC fabrication. Okay, so you can go back and revise on this one, on the process. Okay, so both method use resist coating on the board surface, so to create track and length of the circuit. Okay, so now the next step is circuit pattern etching. So etching is used to remove the copper layer in the unprotected region from the circuit board, so that you can create the circuit. Okay, so the covered area for the circuit will be the track and line, and uncovered area will be open region between them. So this, if you can see from the picture here, this first picture showing the copper foil and also the substrate, where the copper foil is already layered on the substrate, and then we perform the screen printing or photolithography to put the resist on the copper foil layer, and then we have to do etching. Etching process will melt away the copper other than the photoresist area. Okay, and then after that you will have to etch also the photoresist, and then the remaining copper will be the one remain on the substrate. Once the circuit is already complete, what we have to do is plating. So what is plating? Plating is the electrochemical process by which a metal is deposited onto the surface of the circuit board. Okay, so and also inside the plated through holes. So this one, the most common plated metal in the PCB is copper and also tin. Okay, so plating is needed on whole surface to form conductive path, because previously we already create the holes, right? But the hole itself doesn't have any because the glass composite is not electrical. You cannot meaning you cannot form a circuit using the glass. So that's why you have to do the plating in order to connect all the circuit together from each layer. Okay, so from one side to another in double-sided board, and then between layer in multi-layer board. There are two methods of plating process. The first one is electroplating, another one is electroless plating. So electroplating meaning you use higher deposition rate, but coated surface must be metallic. So it has to be conductive. And electroless plating, it is slower process but not require a conductive surface to transfer all the copper and also the tin to the surface of the board. Once the plating process finish, what you will see is there will be insulating substrate, and there will be insertion holes and via holes. So these are the track where all the circuit is interconnected together. Now let us summarize the flow of the process in the fabrication of the PCB. First, you have to do the layering composite and the copper foil. Second will be board preparation on the hole making, shearing, and etc. So meaning that all the preparation like drilling and of the holes you have to do after the layering process. Then the circuit pattern imaging in order to create the circuit. The next one is etching and plating, and finally the assembly. Assembly we're going to cover in the next class. For better understanding, I prepare the PCB journey from the pre-production engineering process until the chemical copper plating. So you can go through the video. It is the journey on how the PCB is performed, the PCB is created, so that you will have a better understanding on the PCB. And here are some other videos also that might help you to better understand on the process of PCB production. So that's the end of part 1. We are going to continue part 2 for the PCB assembly in the next video. Thank you for listening.